In a continent full of ambitious businesses, one platform is redefining how companies across Africa move money and manage spend. Duplo is building the financial operating system for forward-thinking teams. Business payments no longer have to be delayed or disconnected. They can now be fast, secure, and seamless. This is more than just a product update. It's a new chapter, a game changer for businesses, a shift towards smarter, faster, and more connected financial operations. This is Duplo, and we're just getting started.
For over 3 years, Duplo has been at the forefront of transforming how businesses manage financial operations, from payment to spend management. Today, I have the pleasure of sitting with the CEO and CTO to discuss our journey so far and next steps. We'll also be showcasing some of our exciting product features. But before that, a quick chat with the CEO. Hi, Yele.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, can't complain.
Yeah. So Duplo has come a long way, and we want to give everyone a bit of context into where we're at and where we're heading next.
Right.
But before we go into that, let's take you back to the very beginning. What sparked the idea for Duplo?
A bunch of reasons, but I think the most important one was my grandmother. And I've spoken about this story a few times in a few interviews in the past. So she's a major distributor for one of the fast-moving consumer goods in Nigeria. And as a kid, I would go see her every summer, and I'll spend time with her and the family, and go fill out to work as well. And I just noticed that she had a lot of issues, majorly around fraud, theft, visibility into her business, lack of control, inefficiency as well. And this was majorly because she had no full visibility into her business. Payments were in cash, a lot of manual processes as well. So fast forward a few years, I went to go see her again after COVID, and these same issues remained. And it didn't make any sense to me. I just thought it was crazy that, over the span of like 10, 15 years, nothing has really changed. And that's what led to Duplo. I'm an entrepreneur. I was like, I have to solve for this ASAP, and I have to fix this for my grandmother, first of all, and then, of course, for more businesses across the entire country, and hopefully the continent as well. Okay. So that's what led to Duplo.
So my next question is, when you looked at the B2B payment space in Africa, what challenges did you see businesses struggle with that you tried to solve with Duplo?
Three major ones. So one, of course, cash flow issues. Almost every business in Africa just has issues with cash flow. Secondly, lack of visibility and control. This is a major concern for a lot of businesses, being able to see what's happening in the day-to-day in your business. And then lastly was just inefficiency. Because of these issues they had, businesses weren't really efficient, which led to issues around margin erosion with their profits and just not scaling as fast.
Okay, so based off the experience gained in the payment sector over the course of the years, how then will you say the market has evolved? Significantly.
When we started Duplo, there was nothing like spend management or expense management. We'll go pitch businesses, they had no clue what we're talking about. Businesses weren't really digital. Businesses didn't really care about being efficient. That was more of a corporate issue, but small businesses really didn't care. And what we saw then as well was that a lot of businesses care about getting paid, which is incredibly important for businesses. But now we're seeing a gradual shift whereby now businesses want to be more efficient. They want to transact more globally. They want better tooling as well, and they just want better access to cash. So that's been a massive change over the last 3 years, and I think that will change, or that will be a massive difference again, going 3 years further into the future.
Okay, thank you. So I've been at Duplo for over 3 years.
Wow.
And
long time.
Yes, very long. And I've seen the product grow and evolve in amazing ways. So why would you say now is the best time for a relaunch? Why do you want everybody to know what Duplo is doing currently?
Well, first of all, that's my job. But I think most importantly is, like I said, we've evolved with what customers want. Mm-hmm. When we started Duplo, most businesses had no clue, why it was important to be a bit more digital. So one thing we're trying to do now, and we've been trying to do, is just create more awareness into the problem itself and into what we're trying to solve for. Mm-hmm. But I think most importantly is that, now is the perfect time. We're seeing, like I said earlier, businesses have become more global and more digital as well. And we will have the best product in the market to solve for this. So yes, I think it's just a perfect time to, for that, yeah.
Okay. So if you can describe Duplo's mission in one sentence, what would that be?
Yeah, we just exist to just power commerce across the continent. Mm-hmm. That's simply what we do. For me, it's very important for a business in Nigeria to be able to simply transact with a business in South Africa. seamlessly, instantly, and more digitally as well.
Okay. So looking ahead, what's next for Duplo? What should businesses look forward to in the next 6 to 12 months?
Amazing product, more licenses, more markets. I think these are the three things we're focused on over the next 6 months. We want to have the best product in the market. We want to be innovative for our customers. We're also expanding rapidly as well into different locations. So if you're a business in Nigeria and have locations in Kenya, South Africa, we'll be there for you.
Yeah.
We need licenses for this to happen. So we are now becoming more regulated, more secure, more compliance as well.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Now we're moving on to an interview with the Chief Technology Officer. At Duplo, technology is at the heart of everything we do, and today we want to give everyone a glimpse of how we've built our platform. With me now is the Chief Technology Officer. Hi Adeola, how are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm fine, thank you. Let's start with the foundation. What were the core principles when building Duplo?
So I think for us at Duplo, we've always prided ourselves in our ability to essentially adapt depending on the nature of the problem that we're solving. We've always deployed technology at levels that were relevant to the customer's needs as well as what we were trying to achieve, our business objective as well, right? So whether it's us moving with confidence in terms of the kind of products that we're working on, or we're simply just running MVPs, to try to determine whether a particular offering is relevant to the market. We've always made decisions in terms of our technology choices in that area.
Okay, so can you give us a peek into the tech stack at Duplo and how it helps us deliver a seamless experience?
Okay, all right. So I don't want to start tech stack wars out there, right? Every company takes pride in terms of their stack. For us at Duplo, like I mentioned earlier, we've always chosen stacks based on the problems that we're solving. So whether it's in terms of how we move into the cloud, over here at Duplo, we run more of a multi-cloud architecture, which really allows us to essentially move either very quickly or very light as well, depending on the problem that we're solving. We've also chosen our front-end and back-end stacks based on that, those problems as well. Same with how we handle business intelligence within the company. Another area that we are seeing an increasing tech adoption is also within our operational teams, where we are driving more automation using similar tech stacks as well.
Okay, so the product relaunch is very exciting for us at Duplo, and I'm sure very exciting for you as well. What parts of the product are you most excited about?
I think for me, there are quite a number of aspects of the platform that I'm really excited about. I think maybe because I'm involved in quite a number of them. I'm quite excited about how we're handling our approach towards international payments. I'm also very excited about our approach towards our expansion within the African region and beyond as well. I'm also excited about improvements to the platform, like how we now handle sub-businesses as well. I think this has been very relevant to quite a number of companies that recently onboarded with us at Duplo as well. So for me, I don't want to pick one. I'm excited about about all of them, right? But I think if I were to choose one, ultimately it's about our expansion. Right, just reaching out into other markets.
Thank you very much. So in your view, what sets Duplo apart from other fintech companies in the tech ecosystem?
Duplo seeks to connect the entire marketplace by providing a platform that allows businesses, no matter their scale, to essentially transact business either by way of payments or collections across the entire African continent. Now, Duplo not only seeks to do this, but Duplo seeks to ensure that we are also able to automate quite a number of their processes and really entrench ourselves into their business operations as well. So for us as Duplo, that eagerness, that hunger to ensure that we are delivering that value to our customers means more to us than anything else.
Thank you very much for your time, Adeola. Now we've heard from the CTO. Let's see what the product looks like.
Our mission at Duplo has always been clear: to help African businesses move money with speed, control, and confidence. And today, I'm proud to reintroduce the platform we've built to make that a reality. We know what it's like trying to manage expenses, approvals, and payments across different tools, currencies, and teams. That's why Duplo brings it all into one powerful platform. Whether you're handling everyday business spend or making local and international payments to vendors, partners, or remote teams, Duplo gives you the platform to do this. You can create approval workflows, manage taxes, and send multi-currency payments all from one central place. From Nigeria to Kenya, Ghana to UK, Duplo helps you move money securely, efficiently, wherever your business takes you. But we didn't stop there. With Duplo, businesses can collect payments from customers across Africa through our infrastructure using mobile payment, cards, and bank transfers. This is Duplo, built for African businesses by a team that understands the everyday friction of managing money and is here to fix it. Let's take a closer look at how it all works. As a business owner, you're expected to have signed up on Duplo and provided certain compliance documentation. Once this is vetted and approved, your business will be activated and you would have access to the platform. Here is what the dashboard looks like. However, to get started, you're expected to have done certain setup to kickstart your operations within Duplo. For that, you'd need to go to the settings page. First, you're expected to add your team members and attach them to different departments. We have predefined roles within the system for which you can create for your team members. So you could add somebody as a business owner, a submitter, an approver, or a payer. Next, you're expected to set up your taxes as the case may be for your business, most especially tax payables that would be attached to your business payments as you use the platform. Next, we go to how to set up your expenses and create or submit those expenses. First, you need to fund your Duplo wallet account. As earlier mentioned, you have two ways of paying on the Duplo platform, either via direct debit where you've linked your bank or by funding your Duplo wallet. To fund your wallet, you need to click on Fund Account, and here you have the virtual account number tied to your account. This account can be copied and imputed into any local banking app in order to fund. Once you pay into this account, it then reflects in your wallet here. You can also convert this money from Naira to any of the currencies that we have here. To do this, you click on the currency that you would like to convert to, click on Swap Funds, select the source account, which would always be your main business wallet, and then the destination account would always be the currency account that you have selected. And then you select the amount that you would like to convert. Here you would see the current exchange rate. Once you're okay with this exchange rate, you click on Swap Funds, and the equivalent of the Naira value would be deposited into your dollar account or euro or pounds account, as the case may be. Next, we move to the accounts page, and this is basically where you are able to set up several accounts for your business. So if you have, for example, a food chain company in Nigeria that has locations across, let's say, several parts of the country and also have business lines within those locations. A very good use case would be for them to, first of all, create those different branches as sub-businesses here so that they can deep dive into how these locations are spending their expenses. And from the location level, they can then create the business lines as expense accounts. What does this allow such business to do? It allows them to see how each individual business line is spending the monies that have been allocated to them. You can always see the total spend for the month, credit, debit, the balance that is available, the transactions, whether it's a credit or a debit, and you can always filter and download this report. Also, this account can be credited from outside of the Duplo platform simply by copying the virtual account that is attached to the individual accounts. In order to manage accounts, that is to add or to delete any accounts of choice, you can click on Manage Accounts, Create New Expense Account, and here is where you can set up a new expense account. So let's say I want to set up a new expense account for legal. Select the currency. I have Naira. I can add a description here, say legal expenses. And here is where I can select the departments that can access this account. As you're creating your expense account, you can also choose which departments or which business lines or which locations should have access to this particular expense account that has been created. And once I select, let's say, sales team and product team for this business, I can add a budget. So if I want users who have access to this business to be able, to this expense account, to be able to pay even after they have exceeded the budget, I can select that here. If I want to create and select a budget for them, let's say I want to select 1 million, and this will be the budget for this expense account, I can select that here. Once I do this, I click on Create, and the expense account has been successfully created. So you can see that the legal expense account has been added to the expense account here, and we can see all the other expense accounts that we have. So next we have my expenses, and this is where the users who have the functionality to create an expense can submit expenses for approval as the case may be. So in order to create a new expense, you click on Create New Expense. Select a category based on the business or the payment categories that have been predefined in the settings page. So I'll be choosing management, and then select how much should be paid. Choose a tax if applicable. Select a vendor from the list of vendors that have been added to the platform. Pick a date for which this expense should be made, and then describe the expense, which is optional. So I'll just put. So here I click on Save to Batch, and this expense has been successfully saved to a batch. Next is where we have the batches. So here I can see the list of expense batches that I have created, the ones that are in draft, the ones that have been submitted, and I can see whether they are approved or pending. Next, we go to approvals, and this is for users who have been assigned the role to approve. So basically what you have here is expenses that have been raised and submitted will be on the pending page here for the approver who has been selected. Remember, when we created the approval policies, we have selected several people to be able to approve expenses between different amounts or for certain departments. So for every approver who has the functionality to approve based on the workflow, they would see their approvals here. So here you see a list of pending approvals, here you see a list of approved expenses, and here you see a list of rejected expenses. Also, you can see here the total amount approved based on the user's access, and you can see a summary of the approved last month, the approved pending approval, and all rejected expenses here. Once an expense is then approved by any of the approvers assigned, it moves to the payment table. And here we have payment requests, which speak to payments that are based off expenses that have gone through the approval workflow. So here is where somebody with the access to make payments, which is, for example, an expense manager, a payer, or an admin, will see all the expenses that have been approved and pending for payments. Now you can see all the unpaid expenses, you can see the paid expenses, and you can see the expenses that were paid but failed in order for the user to retry. Next, on the payment tab, we have payment for bills that have not gone through the workflow, and that is the local transfers. So this is where a finance manager, a finance executive can come into the system and make payment directly for transactions that haven't gone through the workflow. So this could be certain vendor payments or other business payments that doesn't require a workflow. I had also mentioned earlier how you can convert funds from your master wallet in Naira to any of the foreign wallets that we have, which is the Euro, Pounds, and Dollar. So here is where you are able to use that to make international payments. So if you have vendor payments for vendors that are outside of Nigeria and you have to pay in foreign currency, all you have to do is click on the international transfers button, select make a new transfer, and then you can pay a recipient that you have already added. At last, we'll be going to the reports and analytics module, which basically provides a summary of your activities on the Duplo Spend platform over a given period, and also an analytics of your usage behavior. So on the overview tab, we have here the insights, which shows you a prediction of your expenses based on previous behavior or previous spending. Here we have the total payments on your account over time. And next we have the expense accounts with the highest expenses and those with the lowest expenses. And you can also see whether there's an increase or decrease in your expenses for this particular expense account. Next, we have the returning recipient rate and also your transfer status, which shows you your payment success rates as against your payment failure rates. Next is the payment analytics, and here you can see your payment volume trends month on month. You can see your transactions over time, and you can also see your volume by currency, basically how much you have spent in Naira, Dollar, Euro, or Pounds. Here you have your beneficiary insights, which shows you the vendors that you pay the most and the vendors that you pay the least. And lastly, you can see a week-on-week analysis of your payment activities on the platform. Lastly, we have the spend management module, which shows you a budget tracking, which basically speaks to if your expense accounts are sticking to budget, are making expenses above budget or below predefined budgets. And we also have here top vendors by spend, which basically speaks to vendors that you pay the most in order of how much you have paid them. And then we have policy compliance, which shows you what percentage of your expenses actually go through the approval workflow and what percentage does not. And lastly, we have user behaviors, which basically speaks to what percentage of expense requests were approved and what percentage was rejected.
The only thing we care about here at Duplo is helping businesses thrive. Businesses that use Duplo have seen significant improvements in their financial operations, and I want you to experience the same. We welcome you to join us and pay the world with Duplo.